Is the world actually going to know about the Void Century? Hello, One Piece enthusiasts, I'm the One Piece nerd, and today let's talk about One Piece chapter 1108. The chapter starts with Caribou, of course, talking to Van Augur and Devon, making them reconsider their decisions to take him into the crew, and of course, they are not so carefree because, as we just know it, people are after Teach's life, and even after the fact that they've basically built a crew that is so strong that can only be defeated by a handful of people in this world, they're still scared that someone would take his life, and I think that's a point to talk about. Aside from that, it's full-on action. Before you move on, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps channel a lot. Now that you have, let's begin. So, when we do in fact talk about the world knowing about the Void Century, at the end of the chapter, Vegapunk, the way it was all set up, I would like to believe that this is the end for him. Many people still disagree, but this is the point of contention where we've seen an image of a heart rate monitor basically going flat, and the words Vegapunk said, before this chapter, it didn't feel like a resolution. It never felt like a resolution to Vegapunk. He didn't say anything that was meaningful. He didn't have, let's say, quote-unquote, closure. But now he did get it. And the way he put the words of, now that Bonnie has control of the Seraphims, I want you to protect her because everyone will be after her, which is true. And that brings up a point of contention. Really, aside from that, the rest of the chapter was about dealing with the Admiral and, of course, Saturn, which Luffy did amazingly well. I have a feeling that Luffy's going to dominate the fight much more than we think. And even talking about myself, I think Luffy was underestimated. I underestimated Luffy when it comes to fighting Saturn, but now I believe that there is a chance. But at the same time, the tension that upholds Egghead Island, which I always expected when Saturn showed up, there was some sort of an unexpected tension that I wanted to be there for Luffy, and this is something I could have made a video in and of itself, but there's really nothing much to explain because I can see where Oda is trying to go. Oda's trying to go in the funny, goofy situation regardless of the times we go through. Which is why you see Luffy grabbing both Kizaru and Saturn at the end of the chapter, first giving a sort of a serious reaction. We're not seeing his face. It makes you tell that, yeah, maybe we're serious, but then again, when Luffy gets back up, he gives us a smile. And I think this will be Oda's way all the way through. We won't see tension the way we felt in Enies Lobby, in Marineford, or even before all of these arcs with Katakuri, with Doflamingo. We've seen tensions, and I don't think that exists for Luffy anymore. Because for Luffy, all that's there is his freedom and his will to protect the ones he loves. So from here, I don't really see Luffy getting serious unless it's like really gets in a really tough situation with Blackbeard or Eam. That is a point to talk about, but I'm not gonna bother going through that again, but because those are set for other videos. For now, let's just say Vegapunk is meeting his end now, and which was supposed to happen really. Vegapunk meeting his end at the end of the arc. He's done everything he could for the world government. He's done the forbidden thing. We can't let him, maybe he doesn't know everything about the Void Century, because remember, the Void Century sources are still restricted, even though Vegapunk thinks, or even the reason why Vegapunk was targeted in the first place was because Vegapunk was trying to understand the Void Century. It was not because he knew about it. But the amount of information he does know about it, I believe, is equivalent to what we know thus far, maybe even more. But it's not the complete story. With that being said, Vegapunk staying alive basically means that there will be someone over his head, which includes the world government, and I don't really see a safe place for him. And the way it was foreshadowed at the start of the Egghead Island, when Shaka talked to Dragon about it, we saw it in the anime, yeah, he knew it. He knew it all too well that, yeah, he was probably going to end up dying by the end of the arc. And of course, Dragon said, no, that's never going to happen, whatever. But Vegapunk is a smart man. He knows what he's talking about. In fact, it could get even worse. If the situation is as bad as we think it is, it could get bad to the point where only one Vegapunk lives. And that would sort of make the situation a lot more interesting. Aside from that, really, let's just talk about Bonnie, because now, who is going to save Bonnie? Saving Bonnie at this point becomes a very big priority, because it's not just, oh, she has the power over the pacifistas of the Seraph. Pacifistas, it's that everything combined of Kuma's lineage being passed on to the power that Bonnie has, and to a close connection between Luffy and Bonnie, now that things are sort of getting clear. And Luffy, surprisingly, pronouncing Bonnie's name perfectly, which could be an indication of the fact that, yeah, maybe Bonnie is joining the Straw Hats. Maybe I'm being a little too over-optimistic. You guys can let me know about that. But the way this is going, it's a clear indication that, yeah, Bonnie will probably be joining the Straw Hats. It's entirely possible that the pacifistas are taken down. If we're ever going to see attention, or the fact that what most people are talking about and are scared about is that how are you going to host 50, 60 pacifistas on board of the Thousand Sunny, or maybe even somewhere else. It doesn't have to be that pacifistas are still, active and going. There could be some sort of a device that turns them off. There could be something that Oda's been hiding that could just literally stop the game for now. But if that were to happen, if indeed that does happen, I would like to think that Bonnie by herself is still a target because of her lineage, because of her powers, of course. So at that point, I expect Luffy to take her in. It's not even Luffy taking her in. It's just Bonnie wanting to go even more because she wants to see the end of, and she wants to see the world, and she wants to know what the whole world is about and why the world government goes after her in the first place. Lastly, I will just end with the giant pirates doing whatever they can, and we are definitely going to Elbaf. The whole of giant pirates being here is a huge indication that they've not just been waiting for Luffy, they've been waiting for Luffy to get to Elbaf, because there is something for him there that we don't even know about. Maybe it's the appearance of Saul. Maybe it's the appearance of Saul meeting Bonnie. Saul meeting Robin, but in fact there could be even more in Elbaf, considering Shanks was there a few chapters back. We don't really know what he's planning, but this could be a part of it. It's entirely possible that the reuniting between Shanks and Luffy happens in Elbaf. I wouldn't be surprised if it does. That's it for the video, guys. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day, and peace.